Welcome to Roots and Roofs, where we explore the intersection of motherhood and entrepreneurship in the real estate world. I am your host, Mackenzie Shelton. Join us as we dive into the unique journey of balancing family life with owning a thriving real estate business. Each episode, we will uncover inspiring stories, practical tips, mindset conversations, and expert insights from others who are carving their paths in the real estate industry. Whether you are a seasoned realtor, a prospective buyer, or simply curious about the dynamics of managing both home and career, Roots and Roofs is your go-to podcast for heartfelt discussions and invaluable advice. Tune in and discover how these incredible women are building deep roots from the ground up while nurturing their families under the same roof. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am going to share with you today some of the biggest mistakes I've made as a new real estate agent. And then I'm also going to share what I would have done differently or what I would do differently now that I kind of learned some lessons along the way. So I'm very excited to kind of talk about this topic. I think that's part of the reason that I started my real estate team was because I wanted the opportunity to help agents maybe not stumble through this path like I did, because I didn't have a mentor or someone kind of guiding me along the way. So although it doesn't seem like that long ago, I have been a licensed real estate agent for 10 years. This career was not even on my radar when I signed up for classes. And my boyfriend, now husband, convinced me to pursue my real estate license, and I'm very glad that he did. My goal my first year in real estate was to sell 4 houses, and I actually managed to double that production number. Even though I had some success, I made a lot of mistakes along the way. While I'm glad for those lessons I've learned, I wish someone would have written an article like this to help me avoid making critical mistakes. My top 5 mistakes in real estate are as follows, and I'll kind of explain maybe what I would have done differently. Not establishing an LLC. So I was actually several years into the business, about 5 years into the business, when I realized that I had made this mistake. So setting up an LLC and running your business as an S Corp or a C Corp, if you fall into that category, is super important. It helps protect your business and allows you to have a lower tax liability. So once I actually went through and established this, I was paying taxes in a different way by running things through my business first and then distributing over to my personal income. And then the other thing too is establishing an LLC actually prevents you from having someone, if they were to sue you, go after you personally, because they would have to go after the business instead of you personally. So definitely establish an LLC from day one. It can cost around $500 to $1,000 depending on who you have set it up. There are online programs for this, but to be honest, I really recommend talking with a local attorney to actually establish your LLC. Ineffective time management is number 2 for me. Time management is crucial in real estate, yet many new agents struggle with prioritizing tasks, scheduling efficiently, and balancing their workload. I really struggled with prioritizing my time and spent a lot of days being reactive and instead of proactive with my calendar. I would have time blocked in my calendar with the times that I wanted to go on appointments, do my lead generation, and lead follow-up. So I actually learned this from Bold. If you listened to my last episode, I talked about this just very briefly. So Bold is a 8-week class that KW holds. It's more of a mindset and kind of lead generation class, but they also are very good at like helping you establish just some general routines in the world of real estate. And one of the things that they talk about a lot in KW is time blocking your calendar. Now, this can look different for a lot of different people. You kind of just have to figure out what's going to work best for you and your brain. But one of the things that worked for me very well was not only color coding different activities that I had in my calendar. So for example, if it's a work-related activity like an appointment, lead generation, lead follow-up, anything like that, it is in green in my calendar. And then if it's personal for me, my favorite color is purple. So I went ahead and personalized things with the color purple. The other thing with time blocking is I tell my agents to establish what they would like their ideal day and their ideal week to look like in their calendar every single week. What this allows you to do is hopefully do your best to plug in appointments when those times work best for you. So an example of this would be if I know for sure that my kids have activities on Tuesday evenings and Thursday evenings, I'm not going to put in my calendar that I want to take a new appointment on those days. I'm actually going to go ahead and put Monday and Wednesday evenings as times where I can take on new appointments. And then maybe every single day from 9:30 to 11 is when I'm doing my lead generation and lead follow-up. For me, 4 days a week is really good for those lead generation timeframes. I actually, over the years, have been able to establish a couple days off as a permanent place in my calendar. So I do my best to not work or take on new appointments on Fridays and Sundays. This allows me to feel like I have more control over my schedule, and then I'm not just being reactive to when clients want me to meet with them. So just a couple tips. You might have to kind of play around with it a little bit. I know one of the girls on my team works way better with a paper calendar than she does, like, for instance, a Google Calendar. So you need to just kind of figure out what works best for you and then go ahead and try it for probably a few months to see if it's really going to work out. Number 3 is not having a clear business plan. A well-defined business plan helps agents set goals, track progress, and stay focused. Without a plan, agents may lack direction and struggle to achieve long-term success. I got my license and was just happy to have deals at first. Okay. I didn't have any goals other than I wanted to sell 4 houses, but I didn't have any like real financial goals. I didn't have what do I want things to look like in 5 years. I was just kind of living day to day and just hoping and praying that someone would agree to work with me. That's not a long-term plan, not a long-term strategy. And believe me, it won't get you very far in this industry. It wasn't until I was a few years in the business where I started to set long-term goals for success and establish a very clear path in my career. So I'm always looking like 5 years ahead as to what I would like things to look like. Now, that doesn't mean that things can't change with goals, because honestly, life happens and your life can look vastly different in 5 years than what you originally planned for it to look like 5 years prior. But the point is to always have something that you are working towards and goals that you are trying to achieve, not only every single day, every single week, every single month, and then year over year. That's how you end up seeing long-term success instead of, again, just being reactive, you're being proactive. Number 4 for me is failing to invest in networking. This is a little bit of a sore spot for me, and it's really just because of my personality. Networking with other real estate professionals, mortgage brokers, and local businesses can lead to valuable referrals. I was a new agent who kind of isolated myself from, I guess, other people in our industry. And I think I really missed out on potential growth opportunities. As a newer mom, I struggled with finding the extra time to devote to networking. When I got into the business, I had young kids and then had another baby just a few years after that. So I was just kind of in that mom world where I know other moms that are probably listening can understand when your kids are little, it can be very isolating because it's a lot of work to get out of the house and even go meet with other people. And that it honestly can sometimes be more stressful than productive. So if it were me now, I would set a goal to attending one event a quarter that would make a difference in establishing a good professional relationship with others in the industry. So if you can just set a small goal for yourself like that, I think you would see the benefits even just a couple years later from being able to network and create friendships with other people in the real estate world. And number 5 for me is not joining a team. So I really want this to kind of be the biggest thing that everyone hears me say today. Teams were just becoming a thing when I joined the industry, but I think it would have greatly helped me as a new real estate agent. There are just so many nuances with each transaction, and it is so easy to make monumental mistakes that can either cost you money, time, or your relationship with your client. I would have greatly benefited from having a team leader who helped me early on in my career. And mostly, let me kind of preface with saying, not all teams are created equal. There are a lot of teams out there that aren't the greatest at supporting their agents. So you do have to be somewhat selective and do your homework and your research to kind of figure out maybe who's going to fit you best. But a team brings so much benefit, not only to newer agents, but also with just, again, establishing schedules, knowing that you need to set up an LLC, because if you have a good team leader, they're telling you things like that. I tell my agents all the time, like, hey, you need to save up money. So in case you do have a couple months where where you don't have a sale, like we're kind of set up for that, right? And you're not going to have to run out and go get a quote unquote regular job. So I really think that teams, especially for new agents, hold a lot of weight. And when you trade all of that experience and mentorship and knowledge for just a portion of your commission, I think you'll see that it really is worth it in the end. If you're curious what it takes to be successful in this business, I highly recommend that you check out my blog, www.mahoganyacres.com. I actually have an article out there about all of the mistakes that I made and some of the differences or some of the things that I would do differently now. You also can go ahead and schedule a one-on-one meeting with me. I will leave the link in the show notes below. And I really hope that this brought some value to you as a new agent in the business. Thank you so much for listening to Roots and Roofs podcast today. If you loved today's episode, please let me know. I love hearing from you on Instagram and Facebook, so feel free to send me a DM or tag me in your stories so I can share it too. If you're looking for more information about today's topic, please visit my website, mahoganyacres.com, and all of the information that is listed in the show notes below. Until next time.